I had a really interesting experience as a trainer about 10 years ago. I was asked to be on a national talk show, and there were 6 or 7 really well-known trainers invited to the show to help out very, very heavy overweight individuals. And this is before The Biggest Loser or any of the phenomena of losing weight on TV. And our goal was to work with a really overweight, people that were overweight by 100 pounds or more. My woman was overweight by about 150 pounds, and spend 6 months to help them lose the weight and then come back and tell our story at the end. And on the very first show, you can actually see it if you rewatch the show, every trainer had a very special approach to how they were gonna do it. You know, one trainer was gonna do low carbs and high protein, and someone else was gonna do high intensity training. And when it gets to me, I probably had the most experience on TV at the time, but it looks like I'm the complete idiot on the stage because I had never really dealt with someone that overweight before, and I didn't know her, I didn't know anything about her, and I had to train her from across the mile. She lived in Florida while I lived in California. And my response is, we'll take slow, easy steps, and we're just gonna do the least amount of uncomfortable change every single day. And in that first episode, it really looks like I'm the least experienced, least qualified trainer. But what we did was we started with very, very small goals. So rather than trying to tackle the entire 50 pounds or whatever we were gonna try to lose in that 6 months, we really talked about how to get through today, how to get through next week, what our goals were. And what I did with Donna, who was the person I was helping to lose weight, was I helped her set really, really small goals so she could have victory after victory after victory. So we got a treadmill delivered to her house, and she could barely walk on it for 10 minutes without losing her breath. So I would just say, let's see how long it takes you to go to a quarter mile, and now the next time you get on it, see if you can beat it by even a second. And I set the goals up that I knew would be easy to win and easy to have success. And she just kept surprising me every single time. Instead of taking away food that she shouldn't eat, I would be adding things like, you have to finish this bag of carrots by the end of the day, or you have to drink this many glasses of water. And what I found was by adding to her food, she subtracted things she shouldn't eat because she was just more full. She saw it more as adding things rather than subtracting, and addition's always a little bit more interesting than subtraction when it comes to nutrition. But by default, she got better eating habits. And then through exercise, we never had any setbacks because we had a victory every single week. So she kept improving her performance because I never set the goals too high. We came back to the after show. It was really interesting to listen to how much weight these people had lost. Some had originally lost 40, but then gained 20 back during that 6 months because they got injured, they pushed themselves too hard. Many people were telling their stories of yo-yoing, and in the end, she lost 65 pounds in the 6 months. She won the contest by winning more than anyone else did. And her answers at the end of the show were, I didn't ever really notice I was on a diet. I didn't ever really notice I was on an exercise program. So she ended up making me look really smart in the end because the gradual, slow approach, I said, we're gonna be the tortoise, not the hare, was the one that ended up winning the contest. And she went on to lose more weight, ultimately about 100 pounds. And the success we had was that with her, she didn't gain it overnight. It took many, many years to gain it and become so out of shape. The success was rewinding that in a way that was tolerable, but doable. Really, challenging, but something that she could fit in. And what I've learned from that is if you can keep people motivated for longer, you'll see better lasting results than if you try to cram an unrealistic amount of weight loss or health change into a short period of time. You might have success, but it's hard to keep up with it. It's hard to stick to it. And in the end, what people really want is life change, not just 6 months of change. So that was my greatest learning experience, and come to find out the tortoise and the hare story is true.
Well, the biggest transformation I've seen in somebody happens to be in my sister Nancy. And Nancy had gained over 100 pounds over the years. It just crept on, and all of a sudden she was depressed, felt terrible, her health was declining, and I wanted to help her get back into shape. She didn't want to join a health club, so I made her some little mini videos. I put little 15-minute workouts that I just shot on a little camera in my living room. I gave them to her. She started doing 15 minutes every day. And pretty soon she said, could you do 30-minute videos for me? So we did 30 minutes. And pretty soon she said, could you do 45-minute videos? And we did that. And pretty soon she started coming to the club and taking some of my classes, and she lost 110 pounds, and she looks amazing, and all of her health problems have gone away. So, and the greatest thing is that now I have a really healthy sister.
I'm in the business of helping people get healthier and hopefully in the process get happier. But when I think about life change, I actually have a personal story that I'd like to share. And it is from when I became a mom, which was really the most amazing moment in my life. but I came from having a very demanding career, and I thought that I should try to be a stay-at-home mom. And I wanted to do what I thought was the right thing to do versus being true to who I am and who I was. And so I really struggled with that, and I was very conflicted, and it was difficult for me in all of my relationships because of it. And I had a turning point where I realized that I need to just accept who I am. I'm a passionate, driven, complicated, high energy kind of gal. I want a lot out of life, and I really do want to try not to do it all, but to do as much as I humanly can. And so once I accepted that about myself, it changed everything for me. It changed my marriage, it changed how I do business, it changed how I was as a mom, all for the better, just when I was able to stop being who I thought people wanted me to be and stay true to who I really was.
When I think of people who have made life changes with great results, I think of my friends Bert and Ernie. Their names aren't really Bert and Ernie, but I'm not sure that they would be comfortable with other people knowing of their story. Bert and Ernie were a long-term couple who fought all the time. This was a few years ago, and they're a gay couple, so they couldn't get married. And I'm not sure that they wanted to at that point. They didn't just fight at home. They were very comfortable yelling, and then not speaking to each other, and then giving each other ultimatums in public. They really liked to fight. Then a few years ago, I was talking to Ernie, and I asked about how the fight was going, and Ernie said, "You know what? We don't fight anymore." After I got over my incredulity, I asked how they got over it. Ernie said, "Well, one day I just thought to myself, we've been together 15 years. We raised a kid together, we bought 2 houses together. I'm in this. I used to keep threatening to leave, and while that was an option, we continued to fight. But after I committed to the relationship, we stopped fighting, and if we're going to stay together, it didn't make sense to waste all the energy and make a big deal out of everything and then get upset and then make up later. When you own it, you treat it differently. When you're committed to a relationship, you act differently than if you're not committed." Ernie demonstrated what psychologists have known for years. When you're committed to a relationship or to a program or job, when you own it, you will be more likely to give it your best. So commit to that which you want to improve and stay away from activities in which you can't commit to your best.